Because of the list that I have, I'm going to go ahead and try and tackle some of these. Before I get started, I just want to say that I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I am just a mom. That is the extent of my experience with this. So I'm just going to answer questions like I would for that, but it's not the gospel. I would like to state up front, if you want current facts and the hard stuff, then I would go to autismspeaks.org and check their stuff. They've got all the generic questions from how common is it, what is autism, all of those I'm going to let them handle. I'm going to attack the ones that are a bit more personal, the ones that are more directed directly to me. So a couple of the generic ones, or what I consider generic, I will tackle, but for the most part, go to Autism Speaks or go to teamcharliebear.com. We also have those in our pages that you can look up and see the current statistics. I try to keep those as current as possible, though it is changing rapidly. But anyway, thank you again for submitting your questions. I'm going to get started. Are there different levels of autism? Yes, there are. It's called a spectrum disorder for a reason. A spectrum is a rainbow. It varies from very mild to very severe. On the milder end, you would find things like Asperger's, and these children and adults are verbal and can tell you what's going on inside their head. They may not be able to make perfect sense of it. They're just not very socially capable. But they are the higher functioning end. And then you have children like what I'm familiar with, which is Charlie, who was completely nonverbal. He had maybe 5 words he said before he started losing all of them. And now, with the help of a picture book, and a lot of times without, he can find his words with a prompt of use your words, or I have a strip that I use personally, which is I want blank, and on the back it says yes or no. So if Charlie were to ask me for something to drink, he would just drag me to the refrigerator by my hand and point to the refrigerator. He would want Pediasure, but that's not good enough. I have to make him verbalize everything. So I pull the strip out, I want Pediasure, and he has to say it. Use your words, Charlie. And he'll point to it and say, I want Pediasure. These things are getting more common for him to ask for on his own without the strip as a prompt. When he is upset, we'll use that. Also, when he's upset, we'll pull out his communicator book, which is a book that is full of Velcro strips and sticky things and all kinds of pictures that will say, I want, and then there will be another picture that has chicken nuggets or pretzels or Pediasure or cookies. Pediasure and cookies are his staples, as well as bacon, but I never have to even see the picture for that. We just give him bacon. He's yeah. Follow us on teamcharliebear.com. You'll hear all about that. But moving on, what causes autism? There's been a lot of theories. There's been it's the age of the parents at the time. It's vaccines, obviously, is what everybody hears, and it's genetics. I've seen different studies on the mother's age versus the father's age versus the mother's age, accidents during the pregnancy, genetics because it's already in your family. I'm not ruling out any of it. I told you up front I wasn't technical. The fact is that there was no one in our family that's ever been diagnosed with autism on either my side or his father's side. So I'm sure it could be genetics, and now it's more prevalent because these children are being tested and parents are saying, hey, I think something's going on, and we're realizing what a spectrum it's on. So you could be on the autism spectrum, but you didn't know it before, and that's why the numbers are as high as they are. As far as this ties into how common is autism, it is 1 in 54 boys now that's born with autism, and 1 in 252 girls. So 88%, sometimes 54%, that's what you're hearing of every child that's born Right. It's because the numbers are that high and we are able to recognize it for what it is. For a lot of children, it's simple as not knowing how to be social. It's, for my child, it's everything. I dress him, I feed him, I bathe him, everything. So, can it be treated? Yes. You can treat it through therapies that have been highly effective, especially in the case of my child who could not even make this hand with his hand when he began therapy, which was occupational therapy a couple of years ago. Almost 3, actually. Thank God. But he started occupational therapy and he was able to point at pictures and say, I want such and such, or I want cookies. And it's been slightly over 2 years is the first time I ever heard him say his first sentence, and it was, I want cookies. But ABA therapy is also highly effective. Without that, it's applied behavioral analysis is what ABA stands for. And these people are miracle workers. A lot of insurance does not cover ABA. They don't consider it valid therapy. However, this angers me greatly because the number one thing that affects our children with autism is social skills and how to behave in a social setting. These things keep parents like me at home more times than not. We have no social life because our children can't handle a social life because of sensory issues, because of social limitations. It's everything rolled into one. With the help of a behavioral therapist, my child is more than 80% potty trained at the age of 8 next week. And he didn't start therapy until he was 5. So it's been difficult, and people ask, how long does it take to potty train a child? It depends on the severity. With Charlie's severity, he could likely be in his teens before he is 100% potty trained. With the way things are going, I don't think it's going to be that way. I usually will something to be and it happens, so that's what I'm going with. But these ABA therapists help with a little bit of everything. They are incorporating speech, they're incorporating behavior training, they're incorporating play and social skills, as well as occupational therapy in the majority of what they do. So we couldn't live without ours. We love it. Occupational therapy is those things like handwriting and being able to make a pointer finger, and it's amazing the things you learn. I've learned Where is Pointer as a song that's always in my head when I'm trying to get my child to do things. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now with those generic questions. Again, autismspeaks.org would be your resource for that. If not, teamcharliebear.com, which has all of those generic questions as well. I'll get more in depth with the personal stuff next time. Thank you again for following. Sorry for the length. Again, I'm not short-winded, but hopefully you guys are getting something from this. If you have any more specifics or tips, tricks, dirty looks, direct them accordingly. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.